Hello and welcome to the Den. My name is Eric and it's Friday. So this week on the Den, we're doing Den Q&A, where we've asked each other questions, and I've got some really fun questions here from the guys, and we're just gonna get into it. So Greg asks, have you or anyone you know ever done food play in the bedroom? No. That has never happened. I'm not like super fetishy, you know, like I'm more about like in and out, and there you go. So yeah, like role play, dress up, leather, spanking, food, it does not turn me on. It does not arouse me in the ways that just, you know, like, being up and on somebody kind of does. So no food, Greg. Sorry. Not that I would not ever do that. It's just, I can take it or leave it. Aaron asks, who is the best author you have ever met, and who would you love to meet that you haven't yet? That actually kind of rhymes. I didn't realize that did. So, the best author that I've met, I'm going to go with Dinaw Mengestu, because he was probably the most eloquent and, like, gracious person that we have probably ever hosted. I mean, we've had a lot of people at the library, and I'll talk a little bit about that, you know, but he was just such a really sweet and thoughtful and, you know, insightful person. And so you probably don't know who this person is. So he's Ethiopian American author, and he wrote a book called The Beautiful Things That Heaven Bears. That's the title in the United States. Every other country in the world, it's called Children of the Revolution. And it's actually set in Washington, D.C. The book is set in Washington, D.C. And it's about African immigrant guys from different countries. One of them is Ethiopian. The main character is Ethiopian. And their lives, and about their loss of their country and their identity, and trying to rebuild a new life. And he just had a lot of really wonderful things to say, and he was just like so nice. Like, sometimes you meet people that are just like genuinely really nice people, and he was just super, super nice. Like, we had like lines of people coming up to talk to him, and he was just, you know, every single one was like very personal. Like, he didn't even sit down like in the chair that we had given him. Like, he just like stood up at the table and like was signing people's books, and, you know, had a little conversation with everybody that came up. He was just absolutely awesome. So yay. That was probably the best person, the best author that I've met in the work that I've done at the library. And who would I love to meet that I haven't yet? I want to meet a big horror person. I've not met, like, the big three for me would be, like, Stephen King, Anne Rice, Clive Barker, any of those folks. I would love to get out and meet them. I mean, I haven't asked Politics and Prose if they're going to book Anne Rice, since she's out, like, you know, pushing Prince Lestat right now, which I need to go and get that book. But maybe I'll call up and see if we can get Anne Rice to come to DC. We'll see. Spencer asks, when did you discover that you understood poly relationships? I never have claimed that I understand them. I just happen to be in them on a regular basis. Have you ever been in a monogamous relationship? I would say probably not. And not because of any particular reason. You know, not because I think the poly or mono is better than one or the other. I just haven't. I've dated, probably officially dated, maybe like 6 guys total. You know, I have slept with a number that I will not reveal. But in terms of trying to make something last with somebody, The two long-term relationships that I've been in have been between 5 and 12 years. So, that's it. And they were simultaneous, you know. So have I been in a monogamous relationship? I'd say probably not. He also says, I like the Drunk Monkey series of photos that I posted the other night. When will we get more of Eric Drunk Monkeyed? So this is in reference to me after having 2 pitchers and several bottles of beer after Halloween night, on Halloween night, coming home and ripping my piñata costume apart. Which, if you haven't gone to our Facebook page, go to facebook.com/menoftheden and check out our Facebook page and scroll down until you see the photo series of me in the piñata costume. So, I don't know, man. Like, I take pictures when I get in a mood, you know. Sometimes that mood is, oh, I'm bored and I'm on the bus and I'm Instagramming. And sometimes that mood is, I'm 4 sheets to the wind and I'm taking pictures. Yeah, it just depends. It just depends on how I'm feeling. So, I don't know. Maybe soon, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Evan asks, every book in the world was being burned. You can save 5. Which 5? Oh, fuck. That is really, really challenging. I'm gonna be, like, super practical. Okay, so if this is, like, all of the knowledge of the world could be lost, like, what do we need to retain in order to continue to fucking survive? Okay, so a guide to, like, plants and trees. So, like, one of the, like, tree identification things from Audubon or whoever does that, the U.S. Botanical something that you can identify, like, what is a tree, to know if it's poisonous, to know if the fruit is edible, stuff like that, so that you can identify things and survive. There is, you know, so you get a copy of, like, Grey's Anatomy, right, you know, so that you have, not the TV show, but the book, so that you understand human anatomy, so that you can take care of yourself to some degree. Along with that, probably like a medical reference book. So like, apart from Grey's Anatomy, but something like a physician's desk reference, or something that you can identify like what drugs are, or an herbalism thing, so you can identify the properties of plants. You know, so like, yes, you can peel the bark of this, and this is like a sedative or a laxative or whatever. There are a lot of really cool, like, survival type guides that I've seen. I think about this, like, I don't know why I think about this, but I do think about this. So, like, there's like it's like a old farmer survival guide, something like that, where it teaches you like all of these things that you need to know, like how to, you know, dig a well, and how to, you know, plant crops and stuff like that, so that you can, you know, fucking survive in the post-apocalyptic world. And then probably like something that would keep the language alive, so like a dictionary or something would be like really, really helpful. So that's my unsexy but practical side. So tree identification, physical anatomy, medical reference, a general survival guide / almanac, and a dictionary. So there you go. And that's human civilization. Saved by me. And Will asks me the same question that Aaron asked me, but I'll take it anyway. So you get a lot of guest speakers at the library. Do you have a personal favorite? Now, I said Dinaw Mengestu was the best author that I ever met, but my personal favorite has to have been Walter Mosley. So Walter Mosley writes mystery novels, kind of crime drama, and he was there at the library to read and sell copies of his latest book, Debbie Doesn't Do It Anymore. and he read this scintillating pornographic section that opens the book about Debbie having the most powerful O of her life. And I mean, like, we knew that he was going to do this, right? And so the public library is fucking cool. And he read this section, and we recorded it. I think we've even got a podcast. So if I find the podcast, I will link the Walter Mosley podcast to this video. You go down and listen to the opening scene of Debbie Doesn't Do It Anymore. That was probably my favorite experience. Apart from the fact that I met George fucking Clinton of Parliament Funkadelic this last weekend. So we get the most amazing people. We get the most amazing people to come to the library. So lots of awesome people, but Walter Mosley reading the scene set in a porn studio where the porn actress is having a life-changing orgasm in front of an audience of like 200 people was probably the most awesome experience I've ever had in the library. It's transcendent. So there you go. Thank you, Men of the Den, for your questions this week. I'm putting together the list of activities that we'll be doing over the next couple months. Lots of cool stuff. We got some holiday videos coming down the road. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me some thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, please go to our Facebook, our YouTube, our Instagram, and Tumblr, and Twitter, and all of our social media stuff, and menoftheden.com. And you can find whichever one you prefer, and go there, and check it out, and talk to us, and we will talk to you, and it'll be all good. So I will see you all next Friday. Cheers!